Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the adventures of a traveling journal. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. It is also Stretch the Sketch. Actually, it was Stretch the Sketch on the 21st. I'm just late in posting. This is our sketch from scrapfriends.au, so Australian company maybe. And was also Scraptember that day. Well, since it was September, yes, it's Scraptember. The prompt for Scraptember on the 21st was doodling. And I had my layout done. I just did not have time to edit or voice it. And I am just now getting around to it. So I apologize that it's super late. I am going to actually add it to the playlist for Stretch the Sketch. So you can go and check out other people's videos for Stretch the Sketch in case you missed them. I will put that playlist down below. Again, I apologize for being late. So the idea with Stretch the Sketch is you are supposed to take a sketch, which we have a 12 by 12 sketch today, and we can create in any size we want other than the size that the sketch called for. So usually I go bigger, not always, but usually. But today I'm going smaller because I am working in my traveling journal, which is a project that Joni over at the Carson House Facebook group is hosting, where there are 12 of us and our journals will be passed around from person to person all year for a month. We have different prompts and some different techniques that are either suggested or required. The prompts are required, the techniques are suggested, is what it seems like. And we're all kind of just figuring it out as we are pulling this project together. But the first one, the prompt is all about me. So, well, it's all about the person creating, not everyone's talking about me. I'm pretty sure you knew that, but I thought I'd just be a little funny. Anyway, yeah, so I am documenting myself in this journal, and then I will send it on to the next person, and they will do next month's prompt in my journal, and I will get somebody else's and do the prompt in their journal. And then after a year, you get it back, and you get to see what you have created. I did do a journal comparison because I couldn't decide between 4 different journals because I'm super indecisive that way. And the one, they were all A5 sized, and they were all the ring bound because I wanted to be able to pull things in and out easily. And I wanted people to be able to have that option of laying it flat on their desk and not having to work in a book. I also wanted it to be so that they could pull the pages out, and if they messed up, they could start over on another page. I'm sending extra pages in my journal just in case somebody, I don't know. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you have a mess up and you just want to start over. So I didn't want them to feel like they had to be committed to the pages in a bound journal. So yeah. Also, I really like this size. It's A5, which is slightly smaller than a 6x8. So if you are accustomed to working in a 6x8 album, this would be right up your alley. I have taken a bunch of the papers from, this is, oh goodness, Pretty Little Studios Sunkissed collection. I believe it's called Sunkissed. It was a collection that MK and I used for Kit Conspiracy quite a while back. And I have quite a bit of leftovers, so I thought, I could use these and actually get them used into a layout or into a journal page. So I cut apart this ticket page, and I'm using all of those tickets. I'm going to stack them behind my photo. My photo is actually on top of a library card insert. It's got the pocket and the insert, so I'm not going to actually glue my photo down to the actual card. It's just going to be glued to the insert so that I can stick that card in and out, because I do need to do some journaling about myself. That's going to come into play a little later in our project, because we do have a month where the person is supposed to document things that happened in the person's birth year, whoever's journal they have. So if I have somebody that was born in 1970, that's the year I will be documenting some stuff from, or adding some cool things from. Anyway, that's the idea. Anyway, so I needed to at least put that kind of information in there, right? So I put a whole bunch of different information. I did pull a little printable that had like a list of where you could put your favorites, or it had, movies or books, and you circled which one you preferred, sweet or salty, that kind of stuff. So I did all of that off camera. I'm sorry you don't get to see that, but You know, that's part of the benefit of, of participating in the project. You get to find out some interesting things about people that maybe you didn't know before. Um, so yeah, I'm just layering up all of these tickets, and I'm really glad I had that paper because I think it made the perfect little background for my photos, or my photo. The photo was actually of me in front of a candy store. I think this was on our 2024 cruise. I want to say it was in Nassau, Bahamas, but I could be wrong on that. It's been a while. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it was. I know it was on the cruise. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Nassau. Anyway, I have also pulled out my 6x8 paper pad of Fifth and Monaco, which has been in my stash for a long time. I really loved their papers. I used a lot of the 12x12s. I don't know that I have a whole lot of the 12x12s left, but I have the 6x8 paper pad, which is perfect for this project since it is pretty much 6x8. Now, I suppose I didn't cut my papers on the other, like I could have cut it on the 6-inch side instead of the 8-inch side, but then my diagonals were not going the right way because that pinky, the one with all the colorful stripes in it, is actually kind of a chevron or a, oh, there's another name for it. It's not really chevron because they don't align, and it's not houndstooth. It is, yeah, drawing a blank. Anyway, if I think of it, I will tell you. Anyway, I am using my Stabilo woody pencils, which I absolutely love. These, I just got them, have just only used them on a couple of projects, but they are so nice. They go on really nice. They're super big and chunky, which makes them really easy to hold in your hand. You can sharpen them, so that gives you some ability to do a little bit of detail work if you want to. And I don't know, they're just fantastic. So I am loving playing with these. You can see I'm just scribbling down some color. I did gesso my paper in advance. You can also see there that I've already made a pocket. I did that a little earlier in the video. Hopefully you're watching that. But I just took one of the extra pages, cut it down, and then glued it on. That's going to also reinforce the page just a bit because it's giving it a second layer of paper where the holes are for the left side at least. Hopefully the right side will be just fine. And then since I have gessoed my paper, I can just add some water and drag that pigment around, which I adore. It makes it so easy. I don't have to worry about the colors mixing where I don't want them to mix, because if you know anything about mixing colors, yellow and purple create a beautiful shade of earth tone. So I did not really want that in my book. For this layout. Now it's going to be appropriate in some layouts, but yeah, that wasn't what I was going for in this layout. And as you can see here, I just wanted a little extra pigment, so I just scribbled it down, and there it is. Beautiful. And I do have the gesso on there, like I said, so it's not leaving any like pencil lines embedded into the paper. I don't know if it would if I did not have that gesso on there, because I have not tried that yet. To be honest with you, I didn't try that to see if it leaves like that line of pigment embedded in the paper. This paper's not super thick. It's 160 GSM, which I don't know what that adds up to in pounds, because pounds is actually measured by the weight of the ream of paper versus GSM, which is not, it's more of a 160 GSM is going to be the same across papers no matter what the size is, but pounds is not the same. So because a ream of paper, it's just not the same. So anyway, so I I have in my stash, I had printed out a project life card. I don't even know how long ago. I'm trying to think how long ago it was. And it had these hearts on it. I used it for another project, but I used it for journaling. And I did the journaling in Project Life and printed it out. But before I did that, I had printed out one without the journaling on it, or maybe I edited the journaling or something. But the design on it had these little rainbow hearts across it, and I saved it for whatever reason, just the strip of hearts, because that's, I didn't need the journaling from another page. And I thought they would match perfectly because they match all the colors that's in the paper from Fifth and Monaco. So I cut them out. Well, I did it with a die that MK had, and then I just roughed up the edges so that it doesn't matter that there's white on them. And the reason I'm not using my favorite edge distresser from MK's shop that's sitting to the right of me is the grooves in hers are pretty deep, and because these pieces are so small, I could not actually get them down into the blade. I could have used my scissors, but because this little turquoise one, edge distresser just hangs on my travel bag, I was able to just pull that out and use it. It's probably the one and only time that I find it more useful or better than the one from MK's shop. And better, I'm using that term really loosely because it's not really better. It just suits my purpose better this time. But yeah, it's one of my dreaded tools, that little tiny one. But for this purpose, it worked fine. I guess I could have used my fingernail to rough it up, but it was actually printed on photo paper, so it was pretty thick paper, and I didn't really feel like messing my fingernails up. So now this prompt for Scraptember was doodling, so the sketch has these sketchy lines on it. So I'm kind of loosely using my ruler here to do some sketchy lines. They're not 100% perfect, and I've gone back and forth over them a couple times so that they are not perfect. You know, I don't want them to be exact, and my pen is missing in certain spots, and that's fine. I'm not going to go over it to get a perfect line. I want it to look a little imperfect and a little hand-drawn, and that's pretty much the result I got by doing this. So I'm liking how that is looking. I'm also doing some sketchy lines on this paper or the ticket paper that I've all cut up and everything. And I did rough up all of those edges as well because I do want it a little bit distressed. I didn't want it really super perfect. This journal is kind of like a junk journal, art journal, whatever. And I do know that I am doing more of a scrapbook page than a junk journal or art journal page, which I feel would have probably less actual handwriting on the page. Maybe it would have some, but it wouldn't have as much as I'm going to be putting into my pockets, because this one's all about me. So I wanted to make sure that it had plenty of places for me to write some stuff down. So that is pretty much the reason behind why I chose to do it the way that I am doing it. And I know the person who receives it's going to like it because it's my journal and I like it. So the other months I will be working in somebody else's journal. So I'm going to be kind of playing around and figuring out what exactly I want to do in those. And I hope they enjoy them as well. But yeah, I thought this would be a good route to go, and it would give me plenty of space. So anyway, I will be making some little tags that are going to be sticking out of the pocket there. My tags are going to be in actually 2 different sizes because I want to, I don't want them to be, exactly the same. I want them to be a little bit different. And I am also going to be using the packaging from Pretty Little Studio that all of these bits and pieces, the little florals came in and everything, because they match really well with everything that I've got going on. And so since the packaging was 2 different sizes, my tags will be 2 different sizes. I am using some liquid glue to hold everything in place because I've done mixed media, and anytime there's mixed media, I feel like the liquid glue holds better. I am using my friend's bar magnet from Glassboard Studio. It works great because I did bring my travel size glass board with me. Well, I don't know if you'd call it travel size, but I call it travel size. It is the one that's closest to 18 by 27, 24. It's a little bit more than 24, I think. But so I take that with me, and then my friend who's sitting across from me, she has hers, and she brought her magnets. And my magnets, I brought them, but they were still in the bag. So I just grabbed one of hers because, I'm super opportunistic that way. I don't know. She wasn't using it. She didn't mind. She was sharing. So anyway, I am also doing some sketchy lines across those hearts because it looks like there's actually stitching in the sketch. And so I wanted to kind of represent that. And plus we're doing doodling. And so some doodly sketchy lines across them works really well. I did have to break out my Sharpie pen because my Muji was not writing very well on some of those surfaces because they were very slick, especially the photo paper. And so I decided to go back over my grid lines that I had made and make them even more wonky, and some of them are heavier weighted by the amount of Sharpie that's on them, and I really like that. So I'm happy with the way that came out. I did ink up the edges of my papers as well and rough up all of the edges except for the tags. The tags are not roughed up. I don't think they're roughed up. I feel like I did this a lifetime ago, but it was only last weekend. But some sketchy lines all the way around the outside. Not all. Am I going all the way around? No, I didn't go all the way around the outside. I just did the bottom right-hand corner and the top left-hand corner according to what the sketch had on it. And then here is where I am making my tags. I'm going to be using more of that same paper that's really colorful. And then the wood grain. The wood grain is also out of that paper pack, that the 5th in Monaco collection. And I love the way that that looks. And I did do a little bit of splatter by picking up some of the pigment off the tip of the woody pen and using my brush to go ahead and splatter some of the pigment back down onto the paper, so that gives it an even more imperfect look. So overall, I'm super happy with how this came out. You can see here I'm pulling the packaging and using the packaging like I mentioned before. And then I don't have to do a whole lot of grunging up of the packaging. I don't have to, you know, I don't know, add any stamping or anything like that to it because it's already got all of that on it. It's got some lines on it. There's some little tiny hearts on it. And I think it's going to go great. I'm really happy with the way that that turned out. I did have to do some of the packaging back to back because otherwise you get the back of the packaging, which shows you all of the things that are inside the packaging. So I did a back to back on that. So my tags are a little bit on the thicker side, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. And I conveniently aligned my papers at the top with some of the detailing that was on the packaging where it had the little scallop marks. And then I'm just using my hole punch to punch holes and put a couple of pieces of ribbon in there so I can finish off the tags and soften everything up just a little bit. I really like how that came together and how those look. This ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. I don't even know. It's actually in the scrapbooking section. And then I am using some of the linen thread from Stampin' Up! To tie it off. And that is pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. And don't forget, you can always comment down below if you have any questions or comments. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope that you would consider subscribing and come and spend more time with me. Thanks again for spending time with me today, and I will see you guys again real soon with another video. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.